Hey, happy Monday, everybody. I'm sitting here with Lori Culler, the head basketball coach at Huntington University in Indiana, and she's going to share with us some ideas and tips for, college recruiting. So with that, Lori, happy Monday, and I will turn it over to you.
All right, great. Thanks, Brig. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wanted to talk today a little bit about something that I think every campus visit, recruit visit should include, and that is an opportunity to meet with current players and talk to them without a coach present. I just think that that's a key to really finding out what the program is all about. When a coach isn't there, players are probably going to be a little bit more open with their answers. And as you look at taking a campus visit, what are some ways that this maybe can take place where you would have this opportunity to talk with current players? Sometimes we have current players take a tour, do the tour, campus tour with a recruit. And so that provides a great opportunity to ask some questions as you are, checking out the campus. I know with recruits that come to Huntington to visit, we always try to have them eat lunch with the recruit, have my team eat with them. And, again, that provides an opportunity to ask some questions when I'm not around. Sometimes if they haven't been able to have somebody with a player do the tour or eat with them, maybe they can visit their room, a dorm room, just to kind of see what that's like. And also to, again, have some opportunity to ask questions. I think another important thing is, to be able to maybe play in an open gym setting with the team, just, be able to talk with the players and really kind of, watch observe what's going on with the players and how they're interacting with each other and how they interact with the coaches. How welcoming are they? Those kinds of things. So I think there are a variety of ways that you can, maybe orchestrate an opportunity to talk with players when the coach is not present. If we're talking like a virtual visit, there are opportunities maybe to connect with the coach where you could ask the coach to provide a way to connect with, I would suggest one player from each class, because each one would probably have a different perspective of how their program operates. Some obviously have a lot more experience than maybe the freshmen, but the freshmen would also have an idea of, kind of what the atmosphere was like coming in for the first time and being a part of a new program. So, when you do get an opportunity to connect with a player or multiple players, what should you ask? What are some key things for you to ask? So first of all, I would say, I'm sure you will have probably done your homework and you already know how successful the team has been on the court. You'll know a little bit about, maybe you've even seen them play and been able to observe some things while you watch them play. But, as important as maybe the winning percentage of a program is, I would say that relationships you develop with teammates and coaches are just as important, if not more so, in figuring out whether a program's a good fit for you. So I guess to help you make in the decision-making process, you need to get a good feel for how those relationships are built and maintained within a given program. So some questions I would suggest that you would ask, I'd start out with to say, what are 3 words that you would use to describe the culture on your team? And I guess, as a coach, I would be hoping you would hear things like, it's positive, it's encouraging, hard-nosed, intense, welcoming, team-first attitude. Those kinds of things, I think, speak to a positive culture on a team, and one that I think a lot of people are looking for, especially if they've been on teams where there's a lot of negativity, a lot of drama, those kinds of things. So you're going to spend a lot of time with these people. So what's the kind of culture that they're living in, and do you see yourself fitting into that? And then I would ask, how does the coach help create this culture? Do they do things in a positive way to help create a really positive environment, or do they do things that detract from it? What are the players' perspective on those things? I think as a coach, you really do need to be intentional in terms of developing the kind of culture that you want. And you do that by constantly letting them know what the expectations are, but then you reinforce those things by talking through what those things look like, both on the court and off the court. And so I think that's one way that a coach should be involved in helping create that culture. I would ask, what's your relationship with the coach like? Is it something that the coach cares about you as a person, or is it just, they care about you as a basketball player, or are they a mentor to you? Are they a great role model? Are they someone you can go to with a life problem? That's, I would hope, something that you'd be looking for in a coach, and something that the players would think that they can do that with their coach. I guess another question I would ask is, how are the head and assistant coaches engaged in your life off the basketball court? Are they engaged? And if they are, what does that look like? Spending time together off the court is a great way to develop a positive team unity and culture, and doing things together, like maybe just having a meal together, or doing team building activities, or with my program, we do a Bible study. Those kinds of things are really important, I think, in helping us develop a good relationship off the court as well as on the court. Another question I would ask is, describe how your coach interacts with you in practice and during games. What does that look like? Again, is the coach positive? Are they encouraging? Are they like a teacher? Constructive criticism? Are they challenging? Do they motivate you? Those are the kinds of things that I would want to know. Versus obviously the opposite of those things is probably not something you'd be looking for. I'd say, what are some things that the players do together off the court? Obviously, you spend a lot of time together on the court, but a lot of times those relationships are built off the court with the activities that you're engaging in on those things. And, there could be a whole range of those kinds of things. And I guess the point of it too with that is, are there cliques on the team? There tends to be cliques sometimes on teams, and in other teams that have a great team chemistry, and that they do things all together. They all go get ice cream together. It's not like just a group of 3 or 4. So how do those kinds of things work? I think 2 other important questions would be, what do you love about your team? And what's one thing related to your team that you would change? And I think those could be some of the most interesting answers. And if people are being honest, could really tell you a lot about the program in and of itself. So those are, specific things that would, get at, what are relationships like on your team and between teammates and coaches, players and coaches. Because I do think that, you want to spend the next 4 years in an environment that's going to help you grow and develop as an athlete, but also as a person, and it's going to prepare you for life beyond this. And if you don't have people speaking into your life, whether that's a teammate or a coach, it's going to be harder to accomplish some of those things. So I think that's a really important part of the recruiting process, is to try to get, good answers. The coach is going to tell you what they think, but it also, is important for players, to get their opinion, because sometimes those differ from what the coach thinks is actually happening within a program. So those are some questions, again, that I think are critical. And I hope that some of you look into our program, and, would be happy to talk with any of you that might have an interest in Huntington and what we would have to offer.
Great. Well, Lori, thank you so much. That was, I guess, I learned a lot, and I'm a 40-year-old has-been. So thank you so much for taking the time to, help our kids out in the recruiting process.
Sure, no problem. Glad to do it.